Did you ever dream of becoming an astronaut when you were a kid? Heading up to the International Space Station and snapping a selfie with our beautiful planet? Come on, we all had that dream, right? The thing is, not every dream becomes reality. But guess what? Even though you've grown up, your next generation will probably cling to that same dream. I mean, space is mind-blowing. But maybe you should start telling your little one to drop that dream. Why? Because the International Space Station is dying. But hey, does this mean we don't have any space stations anymore? Hold up, there's a silver lining here. Get ready, because the colossal Starship is stepping in like a total savior. But how? Well, keep watching until the very end of this video, and you'll witness a tale of glory that might just turn things around. The International Space Station has been up there, circling our planet for over 20 years. But you know what? Eventually, its time's going to be up. And when that happens, it's not going to be a gentle exit. It's going to go out with a fiery bang as it burns up in Earth's atmosphere. Just think about it. This massive floating science lab has been like a home to astronauts for 2 whole decades. During their stays, those brave folks have given us a boatload of insights into what it's like to live in the wild world of microgravity. NASA's got to pat itself on the back for this one. They needed 42 separate launches to put this thing together. And you won't believe the numbers. It weighs more than 900,000 pounds on Earth. It stretches almost as long as a football field. And its living space is comparable to a house with 6 bedrooms. It's impressive, no doubt about it. But the clock is ticking. The space station's getting older, just like the rest of us. Now, that's a big challenge in space. It's vulnerable to space debris hits and micrometeorite smacks. And even a minor hiccup can spell catastrophe. But NASA and its partners aren't slacking off. They're keeping a close eye on the station's health. Right now, they're pretty confident it'll stay strong till 2030. But you know how it is. Plans can change. Even if the ISS were in tip-top shape, it can't hang in space forever. It needs a little boost now and then, kind of like a refueling pit stop in space. Those supply ships that swing by, they bring extra fuel for this very reason. But if those fuel deliveries stop, here's the reality check. Gravity takes over. What goes up must come down, right? So what's the next plan? Back in 2018, SpaceX dropped some cool artist renderings of the Starship. One of them caught eyes. It had a musician playing the violin in zero gravity with an audience in the background. That picture really showcased SpaceX's dreams for the Starship. They weren't just thinking about it as your regular old rocket. Nope, they are dreaming big. They are hinting that down the line, this Starship thing could be your ticket to a space vacation or maybe even a cosmic concert hall. Imagine watching a gig while floating around in space or hopping from Earth to Mars in style. Fast forward to today's NASA update. They've got this thing called CCSC-2 initiative going. NASA and SpaceX are in cahoots, cooking up a whole plan for low Earth orbit (LEO) action. They're talking about turning Starship into a full-blown transportation machine, not just for space tourists, but also for getting stuff and people to and from space. They're calling it an integrated architecture. You've got Starship, Super Heavy, Dragon, and Starlink all in the mix. It's like a space travel package deal. NASA dropped some official words on this. In the NASA CCSC-2 initiative announcement, it was mentioned by the space agency that SpaceX was collaborating with NASA on an integrated low Earth orbit architecture. They aim to offer an expanding range of technological advancements, along with the evolution of the near-term Dragon and the simultaneous development of the Starship. The statement continued by mentioning that the architecture encompasses the incorporation of Starship as a component for transportation and as an in-space, low-Earth orbit destination. This is backed by Super Heavy, Dragon, and Starlink, along with various capabilities such as crew and cargo transportation, communications, and operational and ground support. While the old International Space Station is wrapping things up around 2030, NASA's looking to the private sector to keep things going in low Earth orbit. They've thrown a good chunk of change, about $415 million, at different companies for their space station ideas. Blue Origin, Sierra Space, NanoRacks, they're all in on this space station action. The CCSC-2 initiative is like a next-level continuation of this whole plan. NASA's not just stopping at one space station. They've got a whole lineup, and they've picked 7 companies to make it happen. Blue Origin, Northrop Grumman, Sierra Space, Special Aerospace Services, Think Orbital Inc., Vast Space LLC, and of course, SpaceX. All of them are on board. So it looks like the space station future is getting pretty interesting, with Starship as a key player. But can Starship really pull off being a space station? You know, SpaceX crafted Starship with a big goal in mind, making trips to Mars economically viable by nailing reusability. The whole launch setup, from the super heavy first stage booster to the Starship upper stage, stands impressively tall at a whopping 394 feet. That's about 120 meters. Now, what's interesting is that this private space outfit claims that eventually the rocket could house around 100 passengers. Quite the crowd, right? And that's thanks to its pretty spacious 29.5-foot diameter. To put that in context, remember NASA's Skylab station? It had an open interior value, and its diameter was only 21.76 feet. Quite the size difference there. Moreover, it has a 150-ton orbit launch capability. So this rocket, it's actually made of stainless steel, you know. Elon Musk, he's really into that material because it's not too expensive. NASA's big moon rocket, it's all about super cold liquid hydrogen and oxygen. But this bad boy, it runs at about 10 million pounds of liquid methane and oxygen. What's cool is that this new fuel doesn't need to be kept at such crazy low temperatures as liquid hydrogen does. That means it doesn't require as much insulation, and you won't have those annoying leaks that always mess up NASA's launches. The plan for Starship is pretty ambitious. It's not just a rocket. It's meant to be a whole system that can launch and land over and over again. The idea is to use it for trips to the moon, Mars, and who knows where else. Elon Musk, he's all about making space travel more accessible, and he calls this reusability thing the holy grail of space. He said that at an event down in South Texas last February. The goal is to bring down the cost of spaceflight so even regular folks can get in on the action. SpaceX has got some pretty major milestones to hit before they can really show off the whole in-orbit refueling thing, or even think about using the Starship as a lunar lander or a space station. And I'm talking about big stuff here. Like, first and foremost, they've got to get that Starship up into orbit successfully, and they're aiming for that to happen later this year. The idea of having a Starship space station is a game changer in the world of space exploration. It's like this pivotal moment that's pointing us toward a future where the whole line between public and private space travel is getting real blurry. You've got these joint projects that NASA's backing, and they're like these signs that the future of space exploration is going to be less about just government stuff and more about this shared effort. It's not all smooth sailing from here. These kinds of collaborations come with their fair share of challenges and concerns. It's a tricky path we're treading, but there's a ton of promise in it. And speaking of the Starship, so far SpaceX has only done one full test flight of it. It happened on April 20th, 2023. They managed to launch it successfully, but there were some hiccups that ended up triggering the ship's self-destruction. But they're not giving up, and they're gearing up for a second launch in the next few months. And about the concept of using SpaceX Starship as a space station, yeah, it's still in that dreaming big stage, but it's catching everyone's attention because this ship is massive. We're talking about some seriously huge potential here. So, what do you think? Can Starship ace the space station game? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. As we eagerly anticipate the launch and construction of the SpaceX Starship Space Station, make sure to stay connected and stay informed. Subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on this incredible endeavor and other groundbreaking developments in the world of space exploration. Don't miss out on the chance to witness history in the making. Hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you're as excited as we are, and remember, the stars are calling, and the SpaceX Starship Space Station is leading the way. See you among the stars.